Hello, and welcome to RV Advisors All Things RV podcast. I am your host, Cathy Conrad. I have been enjoying the RV lifestyle for over 6 years, and I love helping new RVers realize their RV dreams. This podcast is about RV education, resources, adventures, and the amazing people who love RVing. It is also about discovering the freedom RVers experience, the connection with nature we are all so grateful for, and how RVing enriches our lives. On this podcast, you can expect us to talk about all things RV, including the good stuff, the challenging stuff, and everything in between. So join us for solo episodes, interviews with industry leaders, and other RVers. My guest this week is Regina Kirby. Regina is a dental hygienist turned full-time adventurer, traveling the country for the past 4 years with her family. She shares their journey on her page on Instagram called Seeking Creation, documenting road schooling, national parks, and everyday ups and downs of RV life. Since she can't do dental hygiene on the road, Regina got creative and stepped into work camping, taking on 2 different jobs along the way. She's here to share what she's learned and how families can make this lifestyle possible. Regina, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate you coming on, and I've been excited to chat with you. So let's start out. Tell us a little bit about your life before you became a full-time RVer.
So I always struggle with this question, Cathy, because I don't know how much to give, right? I don't know how much backstory to give. So since this is not the point of today's podcast, I'm going to basically just kind of start from ground zero when we left. So what kind of stemmed the whole thing was we were in the grind of life, right? So we have 7 children in our family. We were just in the grind of life, just being pulled in every direction. I love to be part of things, and I say yes to a lot of things. And I was just, you just get a little tired, you get a little weary. We all do. And one day I just said, you know what? We should just buy an RV and travel. Because I love travel. We've always loved travel. And it was kind of like, yeah, okay, haha, haha. And then the research began, started watching people, who like Keep Your Daydream, Mark and Trish, that channel.
Yep.
Just watching a lot of people and thinking that, wait a minute, maybe this isn't a pipe dream. This could be a reality. So we just started really diving in, right? Diving in. It's hard work. And so Tampa is where we launched from. It became just very, very, very busy. I love the Tampa area. But you're talking 3 million people within that tri-county. And so all of the farmland was being built up. And we had a horse, and my daughter was raising cattle. And so we just saw this, just kind of this rush culture around us. And it's like, let's take a breather. Let's see what happens, and let's take the risk, and let's take the leap. And people thought we were crazy. But that's kind of where the whole journey even began.
Yeah. So you were on the hamster wheel, I call it.
100%.
Yeah. And so you went for it. And tell me now about your life as full-time RVing family, and how do you coordinate all that, and the kids and the dog and
a cat now, Cathy. We have a cat now.
And a cat too. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, we have a cat.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you would have asked me this question when we left 4 years ago, August 2021, when we left Tampa, I would have said, in order to be a full-time RVer, it needs to look like XYZ, right? And being 4 years in, and in our 5th year, I have learned that life throws you all sorts of things, which we know, but to live it in this lifestyle, I think it just hits a little different. And to see that it doesn't have to look like XYZ. It can look like ABC. It can look like purple and blue and red, it's all over the place. What it looks like to live this lifestyle. And so we've had all different seasons and journeys along the way, from moving every week to see all the exciting new things, to pulling back to stay somewhere for 2 to 3 weeks, to staying stationary for 3 months to 6 months. Currently we're going to be staying for the school year and possibly longer in the Tampa area for our son's senior year. That was his request. And so being able to make those pivots and shift, I just think is really, really important. And I used to be super particular. 6 months, we need to have it booked. We need to know where we're going, and it can't change. Yeah. And boy, is that funny. Because that is not the way life works now in year 5. So there's freedom in that. There's freedom in knowing that it doesn't have to look like this. And just because I plan this 6 months out does not mean that that's what it still has to look like. Actually, super cool story. I just want to insert this because this is so, so cool.
Yes.
So our oldest daughter is married and with a baby, gave us our first grandbaby. She, her and her husband, so this is our second RV that we're living in. Her and her husband are actually moving into and buying our first RV. So yes, so they are moving in early next year, and so we're delivering it to them, and it's just so cool to see how this lifestyle just kind of gets in your blood, but also to see just how cool and what a blessing that first RV has been, not only in our lives, but in our friends' lives and in friends of friends of friends' lives, and now our daughter and son-in-law. So it's just, I had to insert that story because that's super cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, that is very cool. Because that's one of the hard parts of doing this is you move away from your family, right?
Right.
And to have them join you, because my kids were, my son and his wife, and our grandson was with us from the beginning, when we went full time. We moved to Idaho, I guess. And same fifth wheel that you have. And so we were, at the KOA together. They lasted about a year or so, and it was just with with kids. I don't know how you do it because how many actually travel with you now?
Now there's 5.
Yeah. So that's a lot, that's a lot of activity. And so I have to really hand it to you. Not everybody's cut out for it, right? Not everybody can do it.
No. And, in the beginning, Cathy, I would tell people, I would say, do it. Just do it. And the more and more people I've met on the road, I definitely see that there are particular personality traits. And I'm not talking introvert, extrovert. I'm not talking type A, type B, like none of that. There are just certain personality traits that I feel like fit for people to be able to go on the road. Right. Yeah. And so I really shifted towards encouraging people to take that risk and live that dream that's theirs. And it doesn't have to be RV life, and it doesn't have to be what I'm doing, right, at all, even though I think it's amazing and I love it.
Yeah.
But I just want to encourage people, right? Take that risk, do the scary thing. Do that thing that maybe you thought you couldn't do, or you have to wait until you're retired to do, or whatever it may be. Like, take that risk, whatever it is.
Yeah. You can always switch back.
Absolutely.
If you don't try it, you're not going to know. You're not going to know. So I'm excited today to talk to you about work camping, because that's something I have not done, but I've really had an interest in, and something I'd like to try one day. My husband's retired and we're actually traveling a lot more. So how did you get started doing that? What drew you to work camping? Because I know you've spent some time.
Work camping was a foreign term to me when we began. I'm a dental hygienist by license. And so living life on the road, you can't really work on the road unless you have a license in that particular state. And so I'm licensed in Florida, and I got licensed in Texas while we've been on the road because I grew up in Texas. I have family in Texas. But they are starting this compact license. And so it might look different down the road. Mm-hmm. But work camping was a word that I was like, what is this foreign word, right? Like it you can break it down and make it make sense. But I didn't need to work when we first hit the road, but gas prices skyrocketed. Yeah. We're launching from Florida. We find ourselves in the Pacific Northwest paying $6.99 a gallon for diesel. And, just all the things that before you know it, you're like, we have blown our monthly budget in a week or two, and we still have weeks to go. And so it was like, we need to figure out how this can continue to be sustainable for us. And so I just kept asking questions. If I met people, I would say, how do you work here? how are you able to work here? Do you live here and work here? And I would just start learning kind of the culture of work camping. And the way I ended up finding it was I don't know if you want me to go into this yet, so stop me if I'm jumping ahead of you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I was like, I don't know. Do you get paid? Do you not get paid? Should I just look at volunteer so that way we have a site that's paid for? Because we did not have Thousand Trails our first year on the road. And so what I did is I started looking for places we wanted to visit that are destination places that are expensive to stay for more than a week or a couple of days. And so I started looking up, I would go onto Google Maps and I would look up state parks in that area. And that's where I started. I just started state parks. Why? I don't know, but I did. And so Antelope Island State Park is in Utah. And I was like, oh, that's around the Salt Lake area. I'd love to go up there, but I know it's expensive. Custer State Park, South Dakota, somewhere we've always wanted to go. Let me look there. And I just started emailing. I would go to their page and at the bottom it would say volunteer with us or contact us. And I would just shoot an email. I have no idea who's receiving it. I don't know. And I would just ask, do you have work campers? How does it work? And just try to start getting information. And that's how I even began down that road. And the reason, I kind of have a reason why I did it. A lot of people directed me to like Facebook pages or workcamping.com or all of these places. And I kept finding they all wanted couples. And I shouldn't say all, majority of them wanted couples.
Yeah.
It would just be me working. So I needed to find somewhere that was okay for just me to work because Jeff has a full-time remote job. He can't work.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of an avenue and something we had to kind of work through and figure out. And so that's when I was like, well, maybe if I take the volunteer route, that would be the best route to dive into. So that's kind of how that began. Do you want me to go into hearing back from Custer State Park? Do you want me to go into that yet?
Yeah, sure.
That's the next thing. Yep. So I got an email probably almost a year later because I was inquiring about summer of 2024 and I sent this in 2023. And so probably September-ish of 2023. And so I got 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. So then fall of 2023, I received an email that said, yes, we do volunteer positions. Is this something you're still interested for summer of 2024? Because when I sent it, I was specific because I knew we wouldn't need it till summer of 2024. So I got an email, right? And then I said, actually, I really need paid work now because of where we had come with the economy and with just needing to make more money on the road. And so I said, I'm interested, but it needs to be paid. Is that something you offer? And so, the gentleman on the other end of the email said, sure, I'll forward your information on. Well, of course, I'm like, sure, you'll forward my information on, right? Like, I didn't know. I didn't know what that meant.
I think I know what that means.
Right. Before I knew it, I received a phone call. And the phone call was, basically, we received your email. We know we hear that you want to get paid. These are the positions we offer. Do any of them sound good to you? If so, we can schedule an interview. And so they did a phone interview and that's kind of how the journey began. So because somebody actually followed up with me and forwarded my email, that is, how that whole journey at Custer State Park began for us. Wow. I also did in the meantime, have 2 more offers of work camping. So I went from nothing to 3 offers in one summer. And so that was a big decision. And so there was a lot of questions to ask to be able to make that decision. So the other ones were through larger companies like Equity Lifestyle. I believe that's what it is, Equity Lifestyle. They manage a lot of the Encore parks or all the Encore parks. And then, and we love Maine. So we were looking at going up to Maine. So that was one of them. And then the other one was a Jellystone, actually. So just talking to people, right? Just ask questions. Yeah. Like you just have to ask questions and that's how you're going to learn where.
Because aren't they all can be different, right? Some of them involve cleaning restrooms, some don't. So, I imagine that you, have to be ask all the right questions to know whether it's going to be a good fit or not.
Right. You. And then how do you know what questions to ask until you've done it? You ask other people that have done it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, I mean, what's your favorite? And with the experiences that you've had, how has it worked for you? What have you done? How has that worked out? Have you been thrown into situations where you're like, that's not what I had in mind?
So for me, I've been fortunate that I knew exactly what I was getting into. So I worked 2 summers at Custer State Park. The first summer, I worked for the actual state park and I did the ticket entrance. I give you a little bit of background. I'm a theme park girl. I grew up, I graduated high school and moved to the Orlando area to work at the theme parks. So all my customer service training and all of my background from, I think I started there when I was right before I turned 19, right around my 19th birthday. And then I worked there through, I think I was 25 or 26. And so it was Disney, SeaWorld, Discovery Cove, Busch Gardens. So I did Magic Kingdom at Disney. And so all the customer service training I had, right, it was top notch. And so the idea of being able to meet people at Custer State Park and help them plan their day, or if they have questions to be able to answer, or it just runs in my blood. And I loved it. I love being able to, welcome to Custer State Park. And then what hike do you recommend? Oh, these are my favorites. And, just being able to really dive in and educate myself on the park because I'd never been there before. Right. I just work camped. We literally went in blind. Never being in South Dakota or Custer State Park. And so I dove in really hard and did as many hikes as I could and drove every inch of that park and, really just made myself knowledgeable. So therefore I could help the guest. And so I love that. I loved that part. Now working at the ticket entrance, there are 5, I think there's actually maybe 6 entrances now into Custer State Park. You don't have a lot of time with the guest. It's very here's, you pay the entry, here you go, have a great day. Sometimes you can talk a little bit more depending on the flow of traffic. But that was one thing that I missed that I was hoping I could get a little bit more of, was being able to actually visit with the guest more. But then that would be a visitor center position. That's volunteer. So I needed paid. My ticket one was paid. So that's kind of, the give and take.
Balance it all out. Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And then my second year, I worked front desk at Bluebell Lodge, which these are things you find out when you work, is that all the lodges, so all your food and general stores, so all of your merchandise and all of that, it is not run by the state park. It is third party ran. So a lot of your national parks, state parks, larger state parks, that's what's going to happen. So I worked for that company and I worked the front desk. Now I did get to visit with the guest for a lot longer, which was wonderful, and get to see the guest over and over and over again. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. Hope you're having a great time. So that made me so happy. But I was inside. I wasn't outside. And I'm an outside girl. So now, right, you have that balance of, all right, what am I willing to give up? What is really important to me? And that's, kind of a give or take. So these are just things, you learn as you go along. They're seasonal jobs. They're not forever jobs. And, you just learn more. The more you do, the more you learn about what you really enjoy doing for an extended period of time in a seasonal position.
That makes sense. Very cool. Gosh. So what advice would you give someone who's thinking about it? You've kind of alluded to ask questions, educate yourself, maybe questions that you wish you had asked yourself that you didn't ask yourself might be good.
Yes. So And some of these questions I definitely have from friends who have had experience and have shared it with me. So I would more than happy to share it with your listening audience because it's extremely helpful. One of the first things I would say to anyone who is looking at work camping, I was so excited to get offered a position that I just yes to everything. Yes, yes. You want me here this day? Yes. You want me early? Yes. You want me to stay late? Yes. And you can easily overcommit out of excitement of that first job, or maybe even the second. Or it's your dream location and you're like, I'm going to say yes to everything. So it's very, very easy to overcommit. So I would say just be mindful of that. Our first year at Custer State Park was 6 months. I would say for me, 6 months was a little long in that one position, doing the same thing for me.
And that was at the front gate.
Yes. Yeah. Some people, it's fine. For me, I was just kind of burnt out and done, unfortunately, by the end. So I would say
6 months is a long time.
Yes. So I would say 4 months would be for me about ideal. And knowing that they need you just as much as you need them. So don't hesitate to say, yes, I can be there from this to this, but like if you already have a family vacation planned or someone's, at a special event, like don't hesitate to say, but I do have XYZ going on, from these dates, just to let you know it's already planned or whatever. Am I good to have that time off? And, just to be able to speak those expectations up front, I think is very important. Some other questions to ask. You're going to know if it's volunteer or paid, right? Like you're going to know that.
Right.
But how does that look for your site? Is your site completely paid for? Is your site X amount of dollars a day? Working for the state park, for me, my site was much cheaper than working for the resort. So, that's something to take into consideration as well. Also, find out what your site includes. Like, does it include electricity? Because I have a friend who their site was included, but not their electricity. So $900 later, right? Oh my God. It's like,
wow.
Okay, so just ask that question. Just know, because if you go into it knowing, it's easier to budget and expect it than
absolutely.
Right. Make sure it's full hookup if that's what you need. In Custer State Park, just for a side note, the only full hookup sites in the entire park are employees. So, and they do have employee campgrounds that are kind of shoved all around the park. So there's that. Some other questions would be, if I work overtime, if I work more than 40 hours, do I get time and a half? Because some states, if it's a seasonal job, you do not get time and a half if it's over 40 hours. So then that's a conversation to have, right? Some other things would be if you're working. So this is not our case. This one I'm about to say is from a friend. If you are a couple working together, ask about your days off together. Can you maybe like at least have one day off together a week? Or otherwise you're never going to be able to explore the area that you're working in because you wanted to explore it. Right. So finding that balance as well. I know there are many other questions, but those are the ones that come like right off the top of my head.
Yeah. And I'm sure it really does vary tremendously from state to state, campground to campground, state park.
Yes.
Wow. So do you have a favorite memory or story about work camping?
Oh my, I have so many, Cathy. I have so many. Both of my summers were so different. My kids were able to work. That was kind of cool, is that my kids were able to work because of, their age. The state of South Dakota, you can work at 14, and it's a place that survives on their seasonal summer season. And so all these places now need to find more employees than what they have in the area. So that was super cool that my kids were able to do that. Man, the people I met
how was the experience for your kids? What do you feel like they got out of it? As far as, what they learned and having a job and you think it was a good first job?
It was
their
so
first
for
job.
my son this last summer, he phenomenal experience. I mean, absolutely phenomenal experience. He was 14, and he was a dishwasher, but he had the best environment. And, I actually went to the YMCA and I asked a lady there, I said, my 14-year-old would love a job. Do you have any recommendations? And she was like, this is where I would send my 14-year-old. And she gave me like 3 places. And so that was super cool to be able to get those recommendations. And so the environment he was in was just wonderful, very encouraging for him. Now, last summer, 2024, my son, the different son at that time, he worked and his experience was awful. And it was because of the manager he was under. Started off wonderful. Well, it's seasonal. So that manager moved on to a different location and a new manager took over, and it was not good. But I said, what can you learn from this? Right? Like every experience is going to teach us something. And it's like, don't ever treat the low man on the totem pole the way you were treated, right? So just those sorts of conversations that we can have, I think are really, really character building, if you will. And now this
for
past
sure.
summer, that one particular son, he actually worked at Bluebell with me. So that was fun. He was a server. So he had the privilege of being a server at 16, 17 years old, which is super cool.
Wow.
Great experience for him. And then summer 2024, my daughter and I worked together. That was special. We got a lot of time together that summer. So that was awesome.
That's great.
And then all the people, oh man, this last summer, I was exposed to so many different cultures from, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and just, I don't know. I just, I can't even put into words just the joy it brought me to, and for my kids, right? To be able to just see and just love on these people. And then they in turn loved on us, and just, I don't know, I can't even find the words of being able to just how much they brought to our lives. It was super cool.
That's amazing. What an enriching experience. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Cathy, I do have one more thing.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. This memory.
That's okay. No.
This memory is one that, so in my previous life, prior to children, when I worked at all the theme parks, I was an animal trainer. And so when the Buffalo Roundup, it's the Buffalo Roundup. When the Buffalo Roundup came through and I worked for the state park in summer of 2024, we work the Roundup. I mean, it requires all hands on deck. So we worked the Roundup. So we helped to park all the vehicles. Well, once you park the vehicles, then we get to go and we get to enjoy the event until everyone leaves. Well, they also needed volunteers to work the bison corrals, because on day of Roundup, they work about 100 of the bison, so they can show the public what they're doing, why it's important for the health of the herd, and why it's such a big deal to Custer State Park and for this amazing herd that they have. And so, of course, I signed up right away to volunteer. I was like, yes, please. And so I signed up to volunteer. And I actually got to do it not once, but twice. So the day of Roundup, and then again, when they actually work the entire herd, I was able to volunteer on one of those days. And I mean, working the gates and the corrals with the bison was just like working the gates with the dolphins and the tigers and the lions that I worked prior. And so it just, I felt like my skills were able to be used in such a unique way. And that was a huge, huge highlight for me.
How cool is that? Wow.
Yeah. Super awesome. Cool.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. An opportunity I would not have had, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So there's the work camping, and then there's these other things on the peripheral that you get to do that are just amazing.
And don't be scared, right? Don't be scared to be like, oh, I'll volunteer. No, I'll volunteer. Let's do it. I'm here. Let's be part of it. But I'm also an all in sort of person. So I'm I'm here. I'm going to go all in. We're going to do this, and we're going to make this awesome. And so, I could have sat back and not said anything, but I chose to put myself out there, and it is definitely a core memory. I'll say that.
And you know what I think about is your kids see you doing this, going for it, and what you get out of it by saying yes. I want to do this. And that just sets such a great example on a great way to live your life. Don't miss out on those opportunities because you never know how, yeah, it could turn out to be not so fun, but it was amazing. And had you said no, you never would have known.
Right.
So good for you
right.
for
And right
doing
after
that.
that, the kids got to be involved in a volunteer opportunity for Halloween. The state park does like this fun walk through trail, and that theme was Inside Out. Was it Inside Out? I think it was Inside Out. And our family was put at a station, me and the kids, and we like had a little script to memorize. And when the people came through, we would, do this little script. And so they had the chance to volunteer as well, which I thought was a super cool opportunity.
Yes. Yes. How fun. Yeah, I definitely want to try this one day.
You can do it, Cathy. You can do it. I'll be your cheerleader.
Okay. And because I've talked to other people too, like when we were in California, we went to Beals Point at Folsom State Park. And the work campers there, it was two couples and they were brothers and their wives. And so they would take turns, which was really cool. And he said, it's great. I get my site paid for. Everything is included. Because he had raised his kids in that area, he said, I get to spend time with my son and his family. And then, so they did that in the wintertime. And then in the summertime, both couples, they went to Montana and were camped there. And it made it really affordable for them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that is a way to make it affordable to stay somewhere an extended period of time, right? As well.
Yeah.
And I've never worked for an RV park or a campground. I've never done that. I can't speak, to that experience, but I would say definitely word of mouth. Like if you know someone's work camping, if you see them post something on social media or you hear about it, message them, ask questions, right? Like, hey, how was it working there? How many, just we're better together as a community, to help each other out for sure.
Yeah, because I've always had this curiosity about it. And anywhere we've gone, typically and a lot, state parks and that, there's work campers there. And I always ask them questions too, because one day I really want to try that. So, tell me, how has the full-time RV life, how's that shaped you? And you spoke, I guess, a little to this in the beginning, how that, shapes your outlook on life. You've learned that you gotta roll with it,
You gotta pivot when you have to pivot.
Yeah.
You need to stop when you need to stop, and it's okay, right? It doesn't have to look any one way. If there's, like we've talked about, since our daughter's in North Carolina, my son-in-law's in the military, it's like we've talked about, hey, let's head up there for 3 months and get a seasonal site and just be next to them and be near our grandbaby. And, so our kids are loving right now being in person with our homeschool group. And they're like, Mom, can we consider staying next year? And normally I'd have been like, no, but we ended up getting an annual site. We love our annual site. We love our annual site. And so we love the location. And so it's like, you know what? We weren't going to, but maybe we will. And if we do, what's going to be our goal? If we do stay, what's going to be our goal? Well, our goal is going to be, right, to pay down this that we've accrued or fix this, or whatever it may be. Like make the most of that time on wherever we are when we had to pivot. And that doesn't mean right now I'm in the Keys. I was hoping to show you outside, but the weather's all yucky today. But we have our annual site, but yet we're in the Keys for a month. Like it doesn't mean because we're in an annual site or with our kids for the school year, it doesn't, our house is on wheels, right?
The adventure does not stop.
Adventure does not stop. And so when we're stationary, I do get back in the grind. With a little bit of this, I still get back in the grind, a little bit of this, because this is the time. If my kids want to try swimming lessons or gymnastics or theater or whatever it is, this is the time to put them in for those seasons or to maximize it, right? Like one of my daughters just started theater class. Another one is starting flag football. You know, we're looking at the other one trying to find barrel racing lessons. And so it's like, dive into this time while you are stationary and make the most of it, because there's still a beautiful thing about being stationary, whether it's work camping or whatever it is. There's still beauty in that.
And there's opportunities that you don't have when you're moving.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's great. So tell us a little bit, because you're a content creator, and tell us a little bit about that and what you do and why you do it. What's your why?
Yes. Oh, what is my why? That is my biggest thing I love to ask people and to answer, because that is like the heartbeat of it all, right? What is your why? And so my why for content creation, it all started with just documenting our memories. I'm not really, you're going to laugh, not really a big social media person, but I started just documenting for our family so that they could watch. And our first year on the road, we actually made YouTube videos, just kind of quick little, hey, this is where we've stayed for the past week. This is what the campground offered. This is what we liked. This is what we did. And it was just kind of like a vlog, I guess. I didn't know that term at the time, right? A vlog of what we were doing. And we look back on those videos and we chuckle, and they were so much fun. And I'm really sad we dropped the ball on those. I would love to get back to doing those. But I had a friend challenge me, and she said, I want you to post something every day for 30 days. And I was like, okay. And so I just started posting something every day for 30 days. And I watched Instagram grow, not crazy, but it grew. I made my account from private to public, you know, all the things. And I went to RV Creating It in Auburndale at Margaritaville there in Florida. Had a wonderful weekend, got to meet some great people. And it just kind of all started from there. And I was like, what is this world that I'm like tiptoeing into? And I kind of had to find my way and what I liked and what I came. If I use something and I like it, I love to tell people about it. And so for me, it kind of shifted towards, I just want to share products with people and places with people. Like that was kind of, this is what we did. If you come to this location, this is great for families. This is what we did. You should do it, sort of thing. And then also products. Like there are so many things you need in this lifestyle, right? And it's like, this is what we have used and this is what we like. And so I really enjoy working with brands and promoting brands. And I know that's not everyone's thing, which is what makes content creation roll, right? Is we don't all enjoy doing the same things. So I really enjoy working with brands, promoting every brand, every company has a marketing budget. And so, you know, my goal or business, if you will, has been to try to make a little bit of side income off of working with brands and promoting them. One of my favorites and what I kind of want to lean more into is the UGC side of working with brands. So user generated content. If someone's listening and they don't know what UGC means, user generated content, which means basically I create the content, I give it to the brand and they use it for their promotional purposes, whether it's photos or video. Sure. So that's kind of where I really want to lean more into. But I also, like I said, I'm a dental hygienist. We're in Florida. It's very lucrative for me to work 1 or 2 days a week while we're stationary. And then also I do virtual assisting on the side as well. So I work with a dear friend of mine I met on the road, and I'm a virtual assistant for her. And I love that. So I kind of have my hands in a lot of different pots and just, you know, different seasons. Some of them get more attention than others. And that's kind of where I am right now. That's great.
It gives you flexibility. You get to experience different things and earn some money too.
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I will put, where can people find you if they're interested in what you do?
So
for your brand?
Yes. So mainly I post on Seeking Creation. So the creation is an 8 because it was 8 of us when we launched. So CRE 8, Seeking Creation. And Instagram
Gotcha.
is my main platform. That is where I would do, if anyone wants to reach out or like just say hey or whatever, that is the main one. On Facebook,
Okay.
I do have a page, but I generally don't correspond very much on that page. I do more my personal page on Facebook. My personal page is Regina Kirby. So feel free to reach out on there.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we have a YouTube. I don't love on it. We have a TikTok and a YouTube. I don't really love on those as much. I do tend to do most of my efforts on Instagram.
Gotcha. So I'll put all that in the show notes just in case.
Yes.
But
you never know.
So I know. In this crazy life we live, RVing. Yes.
No, but Cathy, we do need to say that you came to visit me in Custer State Park.
Yes.
You got to see our work camping site and how amazing it was.
Yes, it was beautiful.
So
I'm a favorite of Custer too. So I was really excited because that was our second trip as well to there, that you were going to be there at the same time. So I was excited to get to come see you.
Yes. And that's another perk of work camping, right? If it's a destination place, the Keys, Custer State Park, Maine, Utah, Washington, Oregon. I mean, I could name all sorts of them. And you're in a location, you do get to meet people, even people you've met online, that then get to become real life friends. Yes. I mean, we've met up twice now, just because we've been going through the area.
So you were coming through Idaho when we were at the KOA, and I met Kelly, who was our neighbor that I hadn't met, and that was a funny story. So I'll tell a funny story. So Regina texted me. She was coming through Idaho and said, "Hey, you want to meet up?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." So we were meeting at that Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And I'm parked at the Chick-fil-A, and as you drive in and out of an RV park, when you're there, you see and the cars, and you get to kind of know the people. Don't necessarily meet them. And I don't think they had been there too awfully long. And so I pull up and I'm parked, and this car pulls up next to me, and I look over and I'm like, they're from the KOA. I wonder if they're here to meet with Regina too. And so as soon as you pull up and walk in, we both get out of the car at the same time. I'm like, "Are you here to meet with Regina?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "You're my neighbor at the KOA." And it was just so funny. And, I say, because we've been doing this since 2019, and 4 years we're full-time, but not full-time travel. But we still were out traveling, but just not, the long trips and some weekend. But, it's the people that you meet. And it's so easy to strike up a conversation with other RVers. Like when we went to, Dakota this summer, we stayed in this, small RV park in Arco, Idaho, not far from, was it I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, and Mark and I are sitting, on our patio area, and I look over and there's another Outdoors RV, which is the brand that we have. And, that's a really close-knit community of people that have those, and a lot of the brands do. They have rallies and stuff like that. So, of course, I have to walk over and say, "Hi." And, they were the nicest couple. And it's just such a pleasure to get to know people and then, keep in contact. So when I changed my number, I sent her a text. She's, "Oh, how's it going?" And, so we had a bit of a chat. And, one day, hopefully we'll meet up again. But it's the people that just really, that's like the hidden gem that you don't go into it. You go into it for the travel and the experience and the destinations. But the surprise and the gem and all that is the people that you meet and the friendships that you develop. I mean, when we were at the 49er in California, when we first went full time, we met so many other people, and we are still friends with them. And they've come here, and we go home and visit. It's just like, it's because when you're living in a house, people, the way homes are designed now, people, they get home from work, they open their garage door, they drive in, and they shut the door behind them. And we lived in a neighborhood for 20 years, and there's people that we never really officially met. And it's kind of sad, but when you're RVing, you're out, you're outside a lot, you're cooking outside, you're walking your dog, and you meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
And I
Always.
think, yeah, and that was not my experience of living in a house, but it's certainly been my experience, being in the RV or traveling in the RV. Even if you're just passing through for a day, you meet people.
Well, I mean, Kelly, the way we met Kelly
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
we were parked in Palm Springs, California together. And
Huh.
we were there because we were in and out of Palm Springs a lot last winter. And so
Uh-huh.
we're like, hey, wait, I think we're backed up to those people again. Like it just
Oh, you're kidding.
kind of, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we're going on a hike today. Anybody want to come? All right, let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It's just that it just happens all organically. And so the fact that
Yes.
that's how we met Kelly, and then,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and then but it also
We're
takes
all
intentionality, right? Like if I would not have
Mhm.
messaged you or messaged Kelly, you guys would have had no idea
Yeah.
I was going through,
Yeah.
So, and then we were
Yeah.
together with Kelly again in Yosemite. And so
Uh-huh.
it just kind of, yeah. So it
Yeah.
just kind of happened that way. But you do have to be intentional, but
Yes.
it doesn't take a lot, right? It's just
No,
a
it
simple,
doesn't.
hey, I'm
It's
driving
very
through. Does
easy.
that work? And if it doesn't work, no one gets their feelings hurt either. It's just like,
Right.
hey,
No.
we'll see you on the road. We'll see you down. We'll see you.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a super cool community.
It
And
is.
work camping creates that community too.
Yes. Yes. So I can hardly wait to have the opportunity to do that. So, Regina, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story about work camping. It's just really inspiring, and I appreciate you taking the time to share it with all my listeners because, other people might want to try it one day as well. So,
Yes. And
it's a very good introduction to it.
yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm no expert by
Yeah.
any means. However, I just want people to know that like they need you as much as you want or need them, and there's
Yeah.
always, you don't have to be 6 months ahead. Yes, it's nice to be 6 months
Mhm.
ahead and have that all planned, but there are always people that cancel last minute. There are always, places in need.
Yeah.
So, if it's something that happens, and just go with the flow, stick your ground to what you need, ask questions, and enjoy your time, and chalk it up as an experience in either direction, good or bad, right? It's an
Yeah,
experience. You're going to learn something from it.
for sure. And take advantage of what you can, the opportunities that pop up because you're there. So awesome. Regina, thank you.
Yes. Thank you,
Appreciate
Cathy.
it. Uh-huh. Thank you so much for tuning in today to RV Advisors All Things RV podcast. Please join us again next time for more RV education, resources, and interesting people. Until then, wishing you amazing adventures, safe travels, and I hope to see you on the road.